Welcome to the Dominate Your Niche podcast with me, Ruth Ferreira. Here we chat to some of today's best small business leaders, individuals who are shaking up their industry and dominating their niche. The show tackles all things business growth, from strategy, marketing and branding, and delves into the secrets of what it takes to dominate your niche. The aim of this podcast is to empower founders with big dreams, small and micro businesses, and even solopreneurs who are looking to make a big impact. People who are hungry to learn from those who have gone before them and implement that knowledge to next level in their own business. So welcome, lean in, and then go take action to propel yourself towards dominating your niche in your small business. Welcome to the latest episode of the Dominate Your Niche podcast with me, Ruth Ferreira. Today, I'm excited to introduce you to Sarah Clay. Sarah is a LinkedIn trainer to B2C and B2B companies. She's an author and a keynote speaker, and she offers a no-nonsense, accessible approach to her teaching, whilst injecting a lot of fun into learning. Sarah's specialism is working with business owners and their teams to help them to get more leads from LinkedIn, whether it's teaching them how to do it, doing it for them, or a combination of both. Employee advocacy is not only a passion of Sarah's, she's actually written a whole book about it. Key themes of our talk include a deep dive into employee advocacy. What is it and how does it actually work? Sarah shares her business growth journey through leveraging her LinkedIn profile and social selling. And she shares her journey into writing her own book and also what she's doing with that book now. We also touch on the power of building your tribe, both building your team and building your peer community that are actually able to make introductions to your ideal clients. Yet another episode absolutely jam-packed with gold. Enjoy. Hi, Sarah. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much for having me, Ruth.
Lovely having you here. So, Sarah, I have about a million questions for you, but the first one, you are a specialist in employee advocacy on LinkedIn. And I've got to say, that is extremely niche. So what I'd love to know is a bit about your business journey and how did you come to specialize in this? How did you come to grow such a niche, if I can call it that?
I love that it's a niche. I do like that, Ruth. Thank you. I might steal that from you, but I will give you credit, obviously. How did I do it? So I used to have a social media agency and I was specializing in the hospitality industry and looking after lots of pubs' social media. And with all the best will in the world, I could not be in every single pub at the same time, taking photographs of all the exciting things that were happening in each of the pubs. So I used put my hat on and thought, what can I do here? So I asked the bar staff if they would contribute towards at the time, it was Instagram stories. So I gave some of the bar staff the logins for the company page and off they went and set them the challenge to go and record things as they happened in the pub, the Saturday night music, when the goal was scored and the whole pub jumps up in the air, all of those moments that I think are really, really valuable to show that happen in the pubs. And with the permission of each of the pub managers, I set up awards and prizes for the best engaged story posted by an employee would get a bottle of vodka or gin at the end of the month.
And I love that you went with hard liquor rather than like a bottle of wine.
No, it had to be hard liquor. But we're in the hospitality industry here. There were plenty of bottles of vodka and gin floating around. And then at the end of every month, we would make a big deal of this and we would post about it and say, this week's winner was such and such person. And this became a bit of a thing within these pubs. And then other pubs within the groups I was working with started to take the idea, which I was very happy about. And then we went into lockdown and I wasn't doing pubs anymore. So then I transitioned to looking after LinkedIn and helping people with their LinkedIn profiles. and gradually realized that actually companies need to be using LinkedIn in a different way from the way that they've been using it. And I kind of reminded
it's really, really hard for companies to get traction on LinkedIn, isn't it? Like it's almost impossible. I don't even follow company pages. I'm like, I'll connect with individuals, but tell me your company news if you want to, but I'm not following a company page. That's kind of boring.
Yeah, absolutely. A company page shouldn't be boring. And if you look at the ones that I manage, and then
I'll check those out later.
tell stories. But also the way that LinkedIn is set up, LinkedIn have set it up so that company pages can't go round LinkedIn bashing personal profiles over the head with their messages, which I actually think is fair, because company pages have big budgets generally.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and on some of the other social media platforms, you will find that you get bashed over the head with the company messages from company pages. And I think I do like the way that LinkedIn has sort of separated company pages and personal profiles. What it means, unfortunately, of course, is that company pages don't get the exposure. They kind of sit in their own little pond, if you like.
Yeah.
So to get that message from the company page across LinkedIn, it's just a no-brainer, really, to use the employees to do that. And when I kind of realized this, I thought, hang on, this takes me back to, when I was working with Fuller's Pubs and other pubs. Let's see if we can work out a system that the employees can do a similar kind of thing. And then
I have to ask, employee advocacy, is this a thing or have you made it a thing?
Well, I haven't made it a thing, because then I realized that it was a thing.
Oh, I love it.
I've been doing it for years, but didn't realize what it was called. So, and it's got this long name, which is slightly annoying, employee advocacy, but that's exactly what it is, though. It is the employees going out and being advocates of the company content. And it works. It absolutely works. And once I sort of realized it was a thing and worked out there's a process that we can follow here, and that there are apps and there are tools to help us do this, I thought, right, this is what I want to do, because it works. I know it works. So that's what I did.
I love it. And do you have many competitors in that space? Because I have never met anybody else that does that. And I know a lot of people.
Oh, good question. Yes, there are people who do it, not so much in the UK. I do have some competitors in where are they? In the Ukraine, I think I have some people who do it.
Gosh, I gotta say, if you're jumping to like far Eastern Europe to find competitors, you are doing well. So in the UK, there's not really anyone else doing what you do.
Not to the
that
extent
you know of. Okay.
No.
Love it. I love it. So you have basically, I'm gonna say almost like carved out, because it's not well known. It's not really a thing yet. I imagine it could be. And there's, honestly, I'm like buzzing at the idea of the opportunity. But yeah, you've sort of almost carved out this niche for yourself that nobody else is doing in the UK, which is awesome. So how have you positioned yourself? What have you done to become known? Because actually, it's tricky, isn't it? When you're doing something that people are aware of, people are on Google looking for that. Whereas if people aren't even really aware that employee advocacy as a thing, they're not looking for you. So what have you done to get visible and to connect with the right kind of clients?
All I've done is talk about it a lot.
I love it.
A lot on LinkedIn. Even my website needs updating, and I just haven't had a minute, since my book's just come out, and it's just been a whirlwind, an absolute whirlwind. So I haven't had a minute to even think about my website, really. So that isn't working for me as well as it should be, most definitely. But LinkedIn is
just LinkedIn, because that is, I imagine, where your target market is.
Yeah, 100%. I'm looking at working with companies, and I look at the size of the company. So, I mean, employee advocacy can be adopted by a company from 2 people, because two people can advocate the
Mhm.
the company message, to 200, 200,000, as many as you like. So any size company. But most of the companies I'm working with at the moment are around about between 20 and 50 employees
Okay.
and getting bigger.
Love it. Well done.
Thank
And I
you.
feel like we need to rename employee advocacy. Like, could you call it like team hype or something? Is that because
Do
that
you know,
is that more of the vibe?
I'm actually thinking, I'm so glad you said that. You may know that I'm going off on this cycling trip tomorrow, and I'm going to be doing a lot of cycling through the Alps, which is going to give me a lot of time to
I
think.
know. I was going to say you could almost rework your whole website, your whole branding in your head on that bike.
Exactly. And I have thought to myself, I need to sort of reposition this somewhat, because it's not a great phrase, employee advocacy, and people don't know what it means, but it is about the team all coming together. And what's great is when you have a team and you start explaining to them how it works and guiding them through the process, etc., etc. What happens is, yes, of course, the brand awareness for the company increases massively, almost immediately. The analytics on the page goes up and inquiries start to come in, which weren't there before. But what also happens is the culture within the company starts to improve. And
Oh my God,
it's
it's
really,
like everyone gets on the same team.
yeah,
Oh my God, that's amazing.
it's brilliant. And it's like Netflix. So people start talking about it. So they start having conversations about, oh, I loved your post yesterday. Where did you get that image from? Oh, did you see so-and-so's post? Did you see what so-and-so commented on that post? And it's like, it becomes a bit like Netflix. It's fantastic.
I love it. I love it. And I wasn't planning to ask you this, but has it ever gone horribly wrong? Have you seen it where somebody's posted something and it's like instant alarm bells?
So I did work with a client a couple of years ago, and one of the girls in the team was commenting on political posts.
Oh dear.
And it's a
Stay
tricky
away
one.
from politics, people.
Always. But it's a tricky one, because the employees' personal profiles are their own. The company
Mm.
has no jurisdiction over them. But I did send her a little message and suggest that perhaps she might want to take that down. And she, it was about an understanding of what LinkedIn is about and who sees things. And she did take it down, and she thanked me for that, actually.
Mm.
So, but no, that's about the worst I've seen.
Okay, awesome. Disaster averted. Okay, so I want to come back to more about Sarah Clay, businesswoman. And so you touched very briefly on how you built your business. So it was through LinkedIn. You mentioned very briefly your book and your website, but what were the things that you did? So when you were early days in building your employee advocacy business, what did you do? What were the sort of the key strategies you used? And can you go into them in a little more depth if it is literally LinkedIn book website? Just for our listeners who might need
Absolutely.
a little more inspiration than those 3 words.
Okay, so three is a good word, because I always say that LinkedIn is in three parts. Okay,
Ooh,
so
okay.
when I train individuals, when I train CEOs, when I train companies, there are three parts to LinkedIn. The first part is your profile. So what you look like, what people see of you, that has to be fully optimized and looking amazing. So when you're building your profile, you use keywords. So the keywords are those words which people will use to find your goods or your services. So everybody's keywords obviously are different. And if you're using those keywords in your profile, you're going to get found. You're going to get found on LinkedIn when people are searching those keywords. But you're also going to get found in a Google search, because LinkedIn is indexed to Google. So
Love it.
it's incredible. So if you type in employee advocacy, it may be my LinkedIn profile comes up higher than my website. It probably will.
It probably will, actually. I
Yeah.
think you're very active there. So there's probably a lot more hits under employee advocacy on that site than there is on your website.
Exactly. So positioning yourself as whatever it is you want to be on LinkedIn is the first step on your profile. So it's your banner, it's all your keywords, it's your about section, it's all of those things that need to be fully optimized and all filled in. There's huge, huge potential in a LinkedIn profile that people just don't, well, most people don't take advantage of.
Yeah, guilty here. I will look at that later.
I'll let you know. The second part of the puzzle, the jigsaw, whatever it is content, is what you're posting about. And again, using those keywords, you're going to come up in the searches, but communicating to your audience what it is that you do in a non-salesy and non-spammy way is the way to do it on LinkedIn.
I love
So
it.
you're sharing your knowledge, you're helping people. And I've been hearing this for years and years, and people say to me, oh, really? That's what everybody says. Well, there's a reason why everybody says that, is that's because it works.
Yeah.
So sharing, tips and tricks and information, etc., works. There's no question. You're showing your knowledge and you're helping people, and people love it, and they begin to love you as well, which is obviously a big, big part of the puzzle. And then the third part is the social selling. So social selling is building connections with people. It is not spamming people saying, buy my stuff.
Oh my God.
Work.
Yeah, that happens a lot. A lot.
Yeah, it does. It does. There are ways that you can help it happen less, but we haven't got time for that today. But going out and talking to people. So I use a lot of analogies when I'm teaching, because I think it really helps people. And I used one the other day to a whole Zoom room, about 20 people, and they thought it was brilliant. I said, would you walk into a networking meeting, stand in the corner and not talk to anybody, and then occasionally shout out, this is how you do this. I'm brilliant at this.
Oh my gosh. Do you know what? I'm actually picturing individuals that might, but I will never work with them.
And that's what you're doing if all you're doing is posting. You're just broadcasting.
Yeah. So it's about relationships. And actually, I've been active on LinkedIn for about a year. I've been on it inactively for many, many years. But the relationships that have come in that last year are just beautiful. Like it's actually I would say I have some actual friends that I've never met in person that I know through LinkedIn now. I wonder if they feel the same.
I bet they do. And we've met on LinkedIn. We've never met in real life. And we've met
We actually met at BNI.
We did meet at BNI. You're right.
God, BNI gets in every single one of these episodes. I'm going to cull it from now on.
But exactly the same. So I've got friends all over the world, people that I learn from, colleagues. So, I've met people on LinkedIn and we've worked together. And that's trust. When you work with somebody, you ask somebody to work with you, that's investing a lot of trust in that person. And I've met people and I have asked them to work with me, and they have, and it's been amazing. And yes, the friendships, incredible friendships.
I love it. So literally, to build your business, you have practiced what you teach and just put yourself out there on LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I've done.
Oh my God, you make it sound so easy. I love it.
And and just quickly, sorry to interrupt, but I don't have any employees to advocate for me. It's just me doing it on my own.
Awesome. So the book, tell me what prompted you to write a book. Tell me a little bit about the journey.
So I never thought I would ever want to write a book. It was never on my radar, not at all. And somebody, I won't say who it is, because I still haven't continued this journey. I was interested in speaking on a stage at a conference. And basically, I was told I would never speak on that stage at that conference unless I'd written a book.
Wow. I want to know who it was now.
No, I can't
you can tell me online.
Okay. That was what I was told. Literally, I was told that. So I said, okay, I'll go and write a book then.
Oh, I love it. And that's the funniest thing, because obviously we both know writing a book is one of the best ways to position yourself alongside LinkedIn, but to position yourself as that expert authority. And
Yeah.
obviously you'd had all this resistance, even though you knew it was going to be something great for you. And then somebody just put it as a barrier and you're like, sure, done.
Yeah.
And it
I was
just
like,
instantly removed that resistance.
yeah, it's a no-brainer. If I want to get on that stage, I've got to write a book, so I'll write a book. So my initial idea was to write a book about how to do LinkedIn. You know, I have got spreadsheets, I've got workbooks, you know, I could have just put all that stuff into a document, sorted it all out and published it. That would have been easy. But no, Sarah Clay does not take the easy path in life.
And also that's quite wide, because
Yeah.
LinkedIn is quite a wide topic, and the perception of that is potentially quite boring. Whereas the way you've, no offense, the way you come at it from is really going to exactly appeal to your ideal client, isn't it? That sort of bigger corporate with the budget to throw at really nailing this to get their brand out there and get that massive return on their employees shouting about it. So I think you've absolutely nailed the book topic.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. It is number one.
Is it? Oh, congratulations.
But thank you very much. Yes, and I thought, well, I've got about 5 books like that on my shelf anyway, you know, how to set up your profile, how to write content, that kind of thing. And I thought, well, I don't want to just be another one of those books that just sits there quietly and doesn't do anything. And then I thought, well, actually, this is my target, so I'd be mad not to capitalize on this. And it was a harder book to write for sure, because I was just, you know, kind of still working out different ways and how employee advocacy is best done, for perhaps the smaller company with not such a huge budget, rather than a huge company just chucking a load of money. But actually, it's not really about the money, it's about the process. You want the process to work. And I wanted to write a book that explained a process that works and is easy for employees to follow and to do. Not the book, well, the book is, it's very easy to read, but the process. And my whole big thing of when I'm teaching is I don't want employees to feel that this is a chore, for starters, because if they feel it's a chore, they won't do it, or they'll do it badly. But my whole point is that what we do is we empower the employees, so they want to do this and they see the value for themselves as well as for the company, because each employee gets a massive amount of benefit from going out on LinkedIn and sharing their knowledge and their experience as well.
And you need to get them excited about it, because otherwise the post could be dull, boring, infrequent.
Yeah.
So it's helping them to catch the vision and be part of almost like this movement within the company.
Yes, it is. And it's what I find is usually the first session that I have with clients, there's always a few people on there. Do this, what am I doing? I'm only doing this because boss said, kind of thing. And then by the end of the session, they're the ones that are asking the questions, going, oh, I get it now. And a lot of it is explaining the purpose. And then the excitement begins to grow. And it's it's brilliant to see.
And a question that I have, I love the way that you have deflected away from the book and back onto employee advocacy. But I'm going to ask the question anyway. Are there any companies it's not best suited to? So I work with all sorts of sort of big companies who are within your target market, and they range from, I'm going to try and say this really diplomatically, they range from like sort of a very high performing team. So like lawyers, accountants, you know, people who they've gone through a lot of education, they are extremely qualified, they are experts, but also employees, right the way through to companies whose teams are, you know, it's maybe more of a practical job, they are less qualified, they've probably had less exposure to LinkedIn. Now, from my gut, I'm feeling like it would be better suited to the sort of solicitors, accountants end of the spectrum. But tell me if I'm wrong.
Okay, right. You've raised a really interesting point, actually. Thank you. Yes, solicitors and accountants, you know, the profession, those professions are so well suited to this, because each solicitor is pretty much customer facing.
Yeah.
So, and also they're, you know, the way that solicitors are salaried and the way the partnerships and solicitors work, it is really in each solicitor's interest to get out there on LinkedIn and start talking and meeting new people. I mean, yes, definitely.
Yeah, no brainer. Absolutely no brainer.
Absolutely no brainer. With regards to companies where you have a diverse mixture of people in the team, so perhaps you've got people in the HR department, and I know this also happens with solicitors. You've got HR, maybe you've got some people in the tech department who don't really communicate necessarily with the public or with anybody. You know, they work very quietly and doing their designs and their tech stuff. And then you have the more customer facing people. What's great is to get all of these people being advocates of the company and talking on LinkedIn, because if somebody comes to the company and has a more technical question and they see that somebody from the technical department who has that knowledge is on LinkedIn, they're going to ask that question directly to that person. They're going to get an answer, and boom, that's brilliant customer service. It's a great relationship that started with that person in the company, and that person is going to be much more likely to buy.
I love it. Okay. So back to the book, no ovation this time. So what I want to know is, because a lot of people think, like, I've written a book, everyone's going to buy it. And I don't really think that is not often the reality. I mean, unless you're a very well-known author that people, you know, queue up and wait for. Was the purpose of this book to sell it, or was it a tool to position you? I know you just wanted to get on the stage, but beyond that.
Yeah, I just wanted to get on the stage. Writing a book isn't a cheap process. I will tell anybody that now. And I've had quite a few people reach out to me and say, how did you do it? What did you do? How did you get to that point? I could not have written this book without my business coach, Marlena Benston. She's been amazing. Please do. She pushed me all the way through. I wobbled at least lots and lots of times, but twice I had big wobbles and couldn't even look at the manuscript, couldn't look at it anymore. I was like, I can't do this. And she was pushing me forwards the whole way through. That cost money, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
It cost money. My time cost money because it takes a lot of time.
Yeah. One of the most time-consuming positioning activities you can do.
Absolutely. Going to stay in cottages on my own so I could actually focus. That cost money.
Sounds lovely.
Not everybody has to do that, but I chose to. And I do have to thank some very, very lovely friends of mine who let me use their places when they were away. So it is a huge investment in time and in money. So selling the book to get some of that back, yes, that's been really nice, watching the coffers sort of start to be fueled again. It's a really nice process. I don't expect to make money out of the book sales alone. No.
Yeah. And actually, for the listeners, I want them to hear that, because a lot of people think they're going to write a book within their niche and they're going to sell loads of it. And actually, that's not really the point of writing a book within your niche. Yes, it's great if you make a bit of money, great if you can cover your costs, but really you're doing it because it's like this amazing, almost like a business card. There's no better way of saying, I am shit hot at what I do, than handing somebody a copy of your book.
Correct. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, at £12.99 for the paperback version, it's not going to make me a millionaire.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, exactly. It's really
great value, guys.
And the Kindle version, which should be out today, I think.
Check it out.
And there will be an Audible version when I get around to hiring a recording studio and doing that. So no, you don't do it for the money. You do it for the kudos of doing it. What it also actually helped me do was work out the system and really refine the system.
And really clarify.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a calling card. It's your business card. And that's what it is, really. And
But the great thing about a book compared to a business card, like you can almost see, if I angle my camera down, and I'm not going to bother because this is an audio only podcast, so there's no point, but Sarah can almost see a massive stash of business cards behind me. And honestly, they're all together. I couldn't even tell you whose card is in that pile. I mean, I could hazard a guess from the rooms I've been in, but there's a good 500 there. And if you look just slightly above where that would be behind me on the screen, there is a load of books, including books that I have been sent. Some of them I've never read because some of them I didn't get past page 2, just saying. But I will never put a book in the bin. I cannot do it. Whereas business cards, you lose them, they go in a wad, they're tiny. When you get your book into somebody's hands, whether they buy it, whether they happen to like win it or be gifted it or get it free with a workshop or whatever it is, forevermore, or until they take it to the charity shop, they are probably going to have that book and they are going to see it. They're going to see your name, your book, and they're going to be reminded of you. And it almost imprints you into their brain as the go-to expert for that topic, for that niche.
Yeah, absolutely. It really does. So I got an email this morning from maybe I'm not supposed to mention, a university just outside London.
Ooh.
Who told me that they would be ordering between 5 and 10 hard copies of the book for their library.
Oh, love it. Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
And so my name will be sitting in the library of that particular university.
Oh my God, you're famous.
I know. And it's just like, and what I love about a book also, how many people will read those books? And they'll be in that library for years probably, and people will read them. And I just think I'm helping so many people.
My gosh, that's amazing. You almost want to gift them to all of your local libraries just to help get yourself out there. I'm not making any suggestions. I mean, you could do. I come up with all sorts of suggestions. Think before you act on some of them. Awesome. Okay, so we just got time for one more sort of area. So I know for you, Sarah, that building your tribe has been a big thing for you. So you're a solopreneur, you're a team of one, but I know you've got sort of support around you. I know you're also really big on building community and connections with your peers. So tell me a bit about building your tribe. What does that mean for you as a successful business owner?
Oh, good question. So yes, I do have a team behind me. Of course I do. I couldn't do all of this on my own, and I have the most amazing team. Some are based in the UK, some are based abroad, and they are just brilliant. It's taken me a long time to find a loyal, skillful tribe, the tribe that I have, and that I'm just so blessed and so lucky. So if you're listening to this team, please know that. They know that. I tell them all
Beautiful.
the time. They are. And they are, I try to make their life fun and interesting, as well as making them work really hard. But we all work together. We're a team, and we help each other, and it is brilliant. With regards to my tribe on LinkedIn, it's been an absolute joy growing that and meeting people. I love people. I feed off meeting people. That's what gives me my energy. And going out on LinkedIn and meeting new people and saying, hello, how are you? I'm this person, I'm that person, how can I help you? Has been absolutely incredible. And I've got some really wonderful stories, which we haven't got time to go into now, about how people have helped me, how I've seen other people help other people on LinkedIn. And it's just wonderful to see. And things like, yes, it's fulfilling, and it makes your life really special when you have people around you who support you, and that they'll be there. And so many people have sent me photographs of them with my book saying, I bought your book. I'm like, but it's not for you. And they go, I don't care, you wrote it, I want to read it. Yeah. And it's just lovely. It's really, really lovely to see that. And
so it's those cheerleaders, even from people that you've never necessarily even met in person, some of them, I imagine.
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
It
what
is
privilege.
Yeah, it really is. It really is amazing. And those are the people, actually, let's go back to business here. Those are the people that will refer you to other people.
Yes,
So I've got one of
yes.
my biggest clients who came to me via a lady I used to know on Instagram and then on LinkedIn. We kind of interact a little bit. I do know where she lives now because I had to ask her because I sent her a gift to say thank you.
Oh,
But I didn't know really much about her or anything. And I could have definitely used her services over the years, but just the timing never worked out. And she referred me to, as I say, what is now one of my big clients. And it's just wonderful how that works.
yeah, yeah. And I think as well, you just never know where those referrals are coming from.
Mm.
So especially a network like LinkedIn, where there's just opportunity to have so many connections, that's an absolute gold mine.
Yeah, it is. And I think the thing about LinkedIn is if you're there, you're consistent, you're doing it. It's not necessarily, and it probably won't happen overnight, but people just see you. You're there, you're there, you're there. You're offering value, you're adding value, you're being kind, you're being yourself, putting your personality out there, and people just get to know you.
Yeah, love it, love it. So my last question, that was meant to be my last question, but we're going to sneak in one more. Talk
That's
to me about success habits. So are there any things that you do on a daily basis, any non-negotiables that you think fuel your success?
Oh, crikey. Okay, so I'm rubbish at sort of all this kind of stuff. So I'm really bad I'm not really good at mindfulness and thinking and what's the word I'm looking for? Visualizing. I'm just not very good at it. I'm a doer. I'm a bit of a blunderer through, and let's hope it works. And I'm trying to work more slowly and more cautiously and carefully.
So you take action.
I do take action. One of the things I do, and there is a film somewhere, maybe it's time I reposted it, of me coming into my office every morning and updating my LinkedIn progress chart. Okay.
Tell me more.
This is a chart I designed years ago, and it's basically got the columns of all the analytics. And I come into the office every single morning, even on weekends, and just write down my analytics, write down my profile views for the day, those the 4 main, or 5 including newsletters, analytics. And I write a smiley face if they've gone up, and a sad face if they've gone down, and a straight line if they've stayed the same. Okay, this is the simple.
I was going to say, this sounds like a great system. And also, I'm reviewing the kind of personality type I thought you were, because I would not have said you were someone who could fill in a tracker every day. But apparently you can.
Because it's next to my kettle, and I'm
okay.
tea, and I have about 10 cups of tea a day. So it's there. See, I can see it sitting right there.
Love it.
And I come in and I fill that in every single morning. And do you know what? It keeps me accountable.
Yes, because what we measure moves generally in a good way. I feel like somebody said that better once.
What we measure, I like it. And I keep all the charts, so I can go right back to 5 years. I think I started doing it, to see that then I was getting on average 1, maybe 2 new followers a day, and thinking, this isn't bad. But now I'm getting 20, 30, 40 new followers a day. And it's like, wow, that is progress.
That just shows consistently showing up in and like committing to that platform where you know your target market are. Showing up, building your personal brand, which I wanted to ask you about, but we are definitely out of time. All of that effort that just compounds. So I love it. Congratulations. So, Sarah, how do we connect with you? How do we buy your book? And do you have any exciting offerings? For anyone who's listening to this, they may have a team and they're like, I need more of this. I need my team to be doing that. What have you got for us?
What have I got? Where can you find me? On LinkedIn. So come and find me on LinkedIn. I'm purple and orange. I'm rather bright. You will find me, definitely. The book is available on Amazon, and if you type in employee advocacy into the search bar on Amazon, it'll come up and it's the top one.
I love it. Of course, it's the top one. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I was amazed when that was day 2 that went.
Oh,
I was like, oh, that's me.
love it.
It was very exciting, and it is still there as of this morning. It was still at the top.
And offerings.
What have I got coming up? I have got, yes. So really interesting. I'm running a webinar on October the 1st. Now, tickets are available through Eventbrite. It's not very expensive, like £22, I think, or something. And it's aimed at female entrepreneurs and female business leaders.
Love it.
Somebody from an organization called Chief, which is a big organization in America, approached me to ask me if I would do it. So I said yes. So there'll be a presentation and then there'll be a Q&A. Please DM me on LinkedIn and I can send you the link. Or you might be able to find it on Eventbrite.
Or I can put a link in the show notes.
You can put a link in the show notes, of course. And I will, when I get back from my trip next week, the rest of my life can continue after my mad cycling trip. I will be hosting monthly webinars, free webinars on LinkedIn every month.
Oh, amazing.
Just get that process established.
Love it. Well, Sarah, thank you so much. It has been so insightful. I feel like I've learned a huge amount from you. So thank you. And it's been a real pleasure.
Thank you, Ruth. It's been wonderful being interviewed by you. Thanks very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for listening today. If you like what you hear, please hit subscribe and leave us a review. Even better, come connect with me, Ruth Ferreira, on LinkedIn and Instagram. I'd love to get to know you.